Boundaries is not something that we verbalize. Boundaries is something that we show. Hi to anyone that is listening. Thank you for being here in my channel. I am Athena and today I'm gonna speak on boundaries. It is essential to put boundaries on people around us because people don't care. You know, in many situations in my life, I used to think that people around me hurt me, annoyed me, and all that stuff. But you know what? After some time, it was me that was hurting myself. Why? Because I kept accepting what the people around me were doing. It's a free world. You can leave a situation and you can ignore someone, or you can remove yourself from that situation. But if you keep staying there where you're disrespected and where your boundaries are overstepped, then it is our fault after that. So that person will continue doing what they are used to do, and you cannot control them. They will. What you can control is your behavior. So if you're in a relationship and you keep telling that person, if you do this again, I will leave, I will break up with you, but then you keep staying. That is not a boundary. That's just you talking. So a boundary is when you actually leave the relationship because your words matched your actions. Or for example, if someone keeps calling you, right, and you answer the phone and you keep telling them, don't call me again, and then they call you again and then you keep answering the phone, don't call me again, do you think they will realize this boundary? No. You showing the boundary is you not answering the phone. These days, honestly, I find it very hard to even blame anyone because I take so much responsibility about my reactions and my behavior that my narrative in my mind has changed from why are they keep doing this to me to why am I putting up with this? And then once you take responsibility, you realize that you actually take your power back and you have the power to decide whether you want to tolerate that situation, that person, or whatever you find yourself in. There's this belief around people that are placing boundaries that they are mean or that they are more selfish, and that is not true, because if you are respecting yourself enough to know when you're being disrespected or taken advantage of, and you have that self-respect that you require to leave the situation, then that is you loving yourself and actually putting yourself first. And if that is selfish, then so be it. Because why would you stay in a situation that you're being disrespected in order to just for what? In many cases, we stay in those situations, speaking from experience, I would stay in situations based on maybe wanting validation from the external world. And this is where we have to heal certain part. When you stop seeking validation from people and from external resources, then you will know how to place boundaries easier. And that is why everything is so interconnected with self-love. Honestly, like self-love equals self-respect and then equals putting yourself first. And then you will know how to place boundaries because you value your own self and your own peace more than pleasing others and more than being validated by other people. So until we actually heal that part, we won't be able to place firm boundaries. For me, it was until I healed my own self and found my own self-love and my connection to the source that I was able to know when I was being disrespected and taken advantage of. And once you remove yourself from situations that you know are not serving you, you will see how much stronger and how much more trust you will have in yourself, because you will feel like I have me, and once I have me, I don't care if other people have me or not, and you will not seek for validation from the external world. And when we meet someone, we don't have to be overly kind and overly giving and trusting them from the first moment. It's good to just give a little bit here, a bit of it here, because that's how you build trust with the other person. trust is conditional. It shouldn't be unconditional, especially with people that you don't know, because people will start taking advantage of that. Not everyone, but they will. And then what happens is that you set the expectation of that person here and the things that you would do for that person here, and then they expect more from you because you were overly kind at the beginning and overly giving. So you know that now they expect that much of you, and you want to deliver that. For what? It's just fascinating how everything is so interconnected, like boundaries interconnected with validation, and then interconnected with people pleasing, so, and then with self-love. So the core for me is self-love and finding your true sense of self and keep becoming that version of you, because the more you love yourself, the more you will not accept certain things from people. And you know, boundaries don't have to be communicated. Your boundaries are personal to you. You don't have to shout them to everyone. You know, there are some people that I would meet over coffee or whatever, and then I leave after meeting them, and honestly, I feel like my IQ is lower than it was. So I now know that I distance myself. I don't have to communicate that to the other person. I distance myself because I know the reasons. So you don't have to communicate your boundaries. You can distance yourself. One advice that my auntie told me is that one day you will wake up and be 50 with wrinkles, and you will realize that you lived a life where you pleased everyone else and you didn't put yourself first. And you will resent yourself for that, because this is time that you will not get back. So before we actually reach a certain point where we resent ourselves, we should be constantly asking whether we are living a life true to ourselves or a life that is up to other people's expectations. Thank you everyone for listening. Remember that boundaries is self-care, is for you, is for your own peace. Boundaries are personal. And I know this is not something that is taught, this is something that is learned from experience. But the earlier that we realize this, the earlier we will find peace. Thank you for being here. See you on the next one.